Hello, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series with your host, Lanre Ajayi. And we're reaching you now from Global Talkative Series studios here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And on this show, we've been blessed to have amazing and wonderful guests who have taken time out of their busy schedule to be part of this show. And today's not an exception. We have an amazing woman in the house who will be giving us instruction, guidance, and talking to us, especially as it relates to women, in nation building and all of that. And like we did on this show, I would like to bring our guest into guest in on Instagram as well because we're reaching you from our studio and we're coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm going to bring our guest in on Instagram and then we can continue the discussion. Da Ogechi, thank you for joining already. We appreciate you for joining this conversation. Thank you. Okay. Have you seen any of the invitation that I sent?
Um,
Yeah, you see, I sent you an invitation to join us on Instagram. We're waiting for our guests to join us on Instagram and then we'll be right into the discussion. Today's episode is going to be an amazing one. It has to do with the subject of our discussion today is centered around women and women empowerment, the place of women in the community. And I believe it's going to be something that will be beneficial to you. Can you send, or alternatively, you can send me an invitation from your phone with the arrow button. The arrow button, just click the arrow button, and then okay, yeah, I can see you.
okay,
I can see you. Okay, that is good.
cool. Right, guys,
All
we're there.
right, that's wonderful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome our guest into the studio today. Is no other person than Dr. Yewande Atunramu, researcher, HR practitioner slash consultant, and leadership development executive here in Calgary. Welcome,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Yewande. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And our topic of discussion today is the global woman, building peace and restoring hope. So, in our usual style, I would like to read the profile of our guest to you so that you can relate and understand our guest. And if you have any question, feel free to post the question online and we'll do our best to answer the question. Here's the profile of Dr. Yewande. Dr. Yewande Aturamu is a researcher and a seasoned human resource practitioner with extensive background in HR consulting services, leadership development, career coaching, and immigration matters. Our passion includes providing HR solutions for our clients, consulting for youth as a career counselor, and empowering women to discover their career potentials. She has over 25 years of experiences in human resources, and her leadership skills spans private and public sectors, oil and gas manufacturing, public services, medical, retail, and food services. She's currently a senior HR manager at Compass Group Canada. Dr. Turamu is also the founder and the president of Trends Consulting International Incorporated, a world-class human resource consulting and immigration services outfit. Yewande holds a doctorate degree in organizational leadership from University of Phoenix, USA, bachelor degree in human resource and labor relations from University of Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, and postgraduate degree in human resource management. She is crowned with the designation of Certified Professional in Human Resources (CPHR) and Society of Human Resources Management, Senior Certified Professional SHRMSCP. Dr. Yewande is a member of Delta Mu Delta DMD Academic Distinction Award in the Doctor of Management DM program, University of Phoenix, Lambda Sigma chapter of International Business Honor Society, USA. She is a member of Leadership Development Advisory Committee at Montreal University and also an assessor at CPHR. Yewande is the current matron of NAOTAN, National Association of Office Technology and Management Students, Federal Polytechnic in Ilaro, Ogun State. As a researcher, Dr. Yewande enjoys writing motivational and human resource journals. She has also enjoys mentoring upcoming human resource professionals, where she shares her knowledge and passion for human resources and immigration matters. She also loves to spend time with her family, reading and listening to music. She's married to a dear friend, Tayo, and they are blessed with three children, Sam, Debbie, and Esther. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Itune once again. How are you
Thank you.
today?
I'm very well. It's been
Yeah.
a good day, busy, but it's
Okay.
worth it.
We have
It's worth
some of
it.
our audiences saying there's a lot of echo. Can you try and turn down the volume of your phone completely?
Okay. Okay. Is
Okay.
that better?
Yeah, this is
I
better.
think
Yeah,
that's
that is
good.
better. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
So thank you very much for coming. And like I said, our topic today is the global woman building peace and restoring hope. Now, I would like to start with a quote, from a peace activist and a Nobel Peace Prize winner by the name of Lehman Bowie. In our blog entry, special contribution made to the 2015 Human Development Report. Working for human development. She said in our speech, she said, just like women's invisible work in the household, women's work in community building and conflict resolution, which has a significant human development implications, often goes unacknowledged. Women's peacemaking efforts are not a strange phenomenon. They have been happening since the outbreak of violence and wars at the end of the Cold War, from Bosnia and Herzegovina to Liberia, Burundi to Sierra Leone, Congo to Uganda. Women have been mobilizing at all local levels to effect change, including during and after civil war. In fact, I can unequivocally state that women's active engagement in ending wars and all types of violence is critical. The only sad fact is that policymakers at the global and national levels are too slow to embrace this reality. What do you have to say about that?
Um, Thank you, Mr. Larry. When I look at this topic, I want to take us back to the pre-colonial era. That when you're talking about a nation building, we're not just looking at now. We have to go back a little into history. And I will be, taking us through my professional experience as well. And starting with that, I want to start with Abraham Maslow of hierarchy
Yeah.
that puts three things as basic need of life: um, food, shelter, and clothing.
Mm.
And when you look at these three things, you want to put women at a center of it and see the role they play.
Mm.
Now, when I take you back to the pre-colonial era, looking at history, and not that I'm going to be specific about Africa alone, but some of them I'll be talking from African terms,
Okay.
especially Nigerian.
Okay.
Women has always taken central role in building nations.
Mm.
And I will cite an example of a great leader, women leader in those era, 19th century. I'm taking you back to 19th century. Let's look for an example, a great lady, a great mother, a great leader, women leader, Chief Mrs. Fumilayo Kuti.
Mm.
In those days, when you look at a woman like this, you want to look at the role she played in developing a nation called
Yeah.
Nigeria. This is a woman as an educator. I mean, you can talk about the children that she raised despite her political activities. She was known as to be a political activist. She did a lot for women. She actually was the one that started women right to vote, because before that time, women, they are not allowed to vote. This woman, she was actually active representation when we're talking about Nigeria independence. So when you look at that, you want to see the role she played in building the nation. And not only her, we have some other example. We can talk about a woman like Mrs. Margaret Epo. This woman was the first female activist in Nigeria. Okay, you want to talk about another woman called Virginia Etiaba. She was the first governor, lady governor in Nigeria. And we should not forget about Mrs. Sarah Jubril. She's a great lady that contested 4 good times to be the Nigerian president. She actually, participated in the regime of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. She was given a special advisor's role on ethics and moral values. Now, that is pre-colonial. Then we want to talk about the war. You mentioned the World War. What happened?
Yeah.
History, my research, revealed that women were actually the nation builder that time, because while the war front, women actually, occupied the offices, running the nation as a mother, as a wife. They are in business, they are in politics. They actually were the ones that were manufacturing materials that men were using at war. So to tell you that women have never taken a backseat in nation building.
Yeah.
And then you come after the war. Then after the war, what happened? Men, by the federal and the state governing council, take the role of women back to men. So they now took their job. And of course, after the war, there was peace. Peace was restored. And then what happened? Baby boom. We're just producing and having children. And this alone led to women now being relegated to domestic affairs. We have to look after their children. And in those days, women that were adamant that they want to work, they are giving them names. They call them, laws. They call them that they are contesting with men. And they call them a lot, type of names that you cannot even want to mention, like, dragging the road with men. But you know what? Women never give up. They continue the agitation. And then that brings us to today. I mean, our current world.
Yeah.
And you want to tell me that even right now, when you are talking about nation building, I want to start from Canada here. Chrystia Freeland, we all know her. She is the deputy minister, prime minister in Canada, and also the first and the new finance minister in Canada. She's a lady. So women are actually building the nation. It's not that we have never stopped. We are still making impact. We want to talk about people like, talking about countries, because I don't want to just limit it to one certain country.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Angela Merkel. She is Chancellor of Germany. You want to talk about Theresa May, the former Prime Minister in England.
Yeah.
And, when I want to come back home, my own Nigerian country, I want to talk about women like Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija, the oil mogul lady.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika. These are ladies that are making impact in the nation building in that country. You want to talk about Mrs. Obiageli Ezekwesili.
Yeah.
She's the senior economic advisor in Nigeria. Of course, Dr. Mrs. Nkonjo.
Well.
She is the people that we can mention. And I don't want to mention all and forget myself. As little, as small as it is, I went to an event on Sunday and people were congratulating me that, hey, congratulations. I'm like, what? And they said, do you know that you are the first female vice president for Yoruba Foundation in Calgary? This association has been on for many years. I think like 25 years going, and they never have female. And I became the first female vice president. And this is not just like on a platter of gold. It's hard work, showing interest, contributing, want to be part of building the nation we are calling. We are mothers, we are wives, and we are educators, we are professionals. So for me, I think when I put all these two together, I want you to see that women take a lot active role in building nation, talk about any country, talk about any society.
That
I
is
will stop
amazing.
here because if I continue, I can just talk and talk and talk more and more.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you so much. You know, you sort of answer question one and two together. You know, but I was going to ask the first question is what are the roles of women in nation building and how is the development of the female person beneficial to the nation? But that is very good. And that
But you know
takes us,
what?
okay,
You know what? I can still talk more about that because
okay,
we shouldn't forget, and this is my own opinion.
all right,
I'm sorry, I don't want to be, I don't want to talk religious here,
okay,
but I'm a Christian and I'm
go
happy
ahead,
to
go
sit
ahead.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you know that when you're talking about the development of a woman, right from the beginning, when God created the world, he created Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And God said that he took Adam from the dust, right? Created Adam. And he said, well, it is not good for that man to be alone, and he will do a helpmate. He
Mm,
didn't take Eve from the dust, right? He never did that. He took Adam, he took Eve from the rib of Adam. That is to tell you that from time immemorial, woman has always been part of a man. We are not
mm,
separate. We are
yeah.
together. We are helpmates. So when you are talking about the development of a country, of a nation, if you leave women behind, then you are making a great mistake.
Mm.
It will never be complete without that woman.
That is
Thank
amazing.
you.
I hope some of the leaders, who are watching us are taking note of that. And then talking in still in terms of the global woman building peace and restoring hope and all of the many attributes and explanation. And you've given us about different women who are occupying one leadership role or the other across the nations of the world. We still have some issues, basically, still affecting women, especially and that leads me to the next question about what are some of the barriers and biases against women in leadership roles? What are the things that is we're still fighting, against women from taking this role as a leader?
So, Mr. Ajayi, I want to be a little bit political in that very question.
Mm,
I do know that all what people say is that men dominate everywhere and women were relegated. But I want to answer that question a little bit differently. Other than that, equal pay for equal job, we see that men occupy certain positions that it's like a glass ceiling for women. You can attain it, and even if you attain it, you are not going to get the same accolade as they give to men. I want to challenge even we ourselves, the women, and to say that other than this aspect of equal pay for equal job, glass ceiling for ladies, the question is that we women ourselves, are we ready to actually, I can say we are part of our biases. And
mm,
my own is this: in the globe, all over the world, women population are more than male
amen.
gender.
Mm,
Yes. So tell me how men are winning elections when we are losing, when we
mm.
actually have
The
larger
number, the
number.
numbers.
So
Mm,
that means that the bias is even now against ourselves.
mm,
And don't get me wrong, the competition is high. We don't want to take anything on a platter of gold. We need to merit it.
yeah.
But other than that, women, we have to break that bias against ourselves to begin to support women.
Mm,
When we see a woman of substance that merits the office the person is vying for, be it in organization, be it in business, be it in politics, be it in public service, I think the onus lie on us to actually begin to campaign for ourselves, to support ourselves, to give us the credit that we ourselves demand, so that men can begin to see us that. Because lately, the message is going out, it's getting to men that, you know what, when we are talking about nation development, sustainable development, we can't leave
yeah.
women behind. But the
Mm,
question is that, are we ready?
mm,
Are we supporting ourselves? Do
mm,
we have what it takes to run that office?
mm,
So the bias now is not just only for the men, but even ourselves need to take part in that bias and begin to break that biases so that we can be known we can be given the credit for those things that we know how to do better.
That is amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're just like a step further in the question I'm going to ask, because you're talking about women being, against themselves. When you have the numbers, because politics is basically a game of numbers. When you have
Yes.
the largest number, it takes the vote. Now, the question is our community, both the Western world or the developing nations or the developed world, is our community ready for female leaders? Because you said Angela Merkel is one of the great leaders, German chancellor, who is the leader. You have New Zealand, a woman leader, and also some part in Hong Kong. There's a woman who is also the leader, but we have them few in places like that. Like Canada here, we're yet to have the first female prime minister. Maybe it's going to come soon, or we don't know. So the question is our community ready for female leaders in politics, in different, business organization? Are we ready for it?
Again, I'll go back to the question you asked me before this one. I want to say that instead of asking that is the nation community ready for a female leader, I want to say that female, are we ready to occupy to become that community? Are we ready to be that leaders that we are talking about? And like I mentioned, men, they are getting the message now that, hey, women actually have to be given voices in either in politics, either in public services, either in organization. I want to believe that men are listening and they are giving room for us. But we need to know that the competition is high than before. And the question is that, are we really ready to, is our readiness as high as it is now to take those offices? We need to believe in our fellow women first. We need to really have what it takes to run the office we are vying for. We need to demonstrate more interest, participation, contribution to assume that office that we are talking about here to build a nation. So when I'm talking about when you're asking the question if the communities are ready, I would say, well, I want to answer that question 50%. I think they're ready, but they're not just going to give us that leadership. Just like they're not just going to throw it on us like on a platter of gold. They want us to merit it. And if we want to merit it, we ourselves need to prepare high, because the competition is high than ever before. We need to show interest. We need to contribute. We can't just sit behind and think that it will just come to you. And that would take me to I am human resources practitioner, as you know. In organizations, sometimes we earmark some positions for certain, maybe ethnicity, gender, but it doesn't mean that we just throw it to anyone. Yeah. What that means is that when we have that opportunity and we have qualified candidates, we're going to be taken from the pool of those people that qualify. But in the absence of anyone qualified in that pool, I tell you, they're going to throw it to the public. And whoever merits that position, whoever is the right fit, takes it. So I will now say that, okay, the community, maybe they want to give us that opportunity, but we need to ready to fit that role as well.
Thank you very much. This is still the Global Talkative Series here with Dr. Yewande Aturamu, researcher, HR practitioner / consultant, and leadership development executive. And our topic of discussion today is the global woman, restoring peace and building peace and restoring hope. And while you were talking, the last question you mentioned workplace, the challenges that come with workplace, and that leads me to the next question. How can gender barriers be overcome in the workplace? Because we see that happen a lot of time. You mentioned about a particular role that is, in quotes, we think, okay, this position it's for a man, or it's meant for some, a man should occupy this position rather than a woman. So, and many a times it is not always right, because who says a woman cannot be a mechanic? Who says a
Of
woman
course.
cannot fix a plane or cannot fix a boat or cannot, build a house? So we assume according to community standard that okay, this is a man's job, this is a woman's job, and as such, a lot of women are losing the opportunity that probably if given that chance they will do better. So how can gender barriers be overcome in the workplace?
Um, Mostly, I would say, like, I'm human resources practitioner, and I would say it's mainly the awareness. What we do these days in organization is to begin to create awareness, designing programs that will make it attractive for equal gender
Yeah.
to participate, to occupy whatever office they need to occupy. And I'll cite an example. I have background, a lot of background in oil and gas as well. That I work there. I work with an oil servicing company at a time, and this position we called drilling. They are
Okay.
drillers.
Yes.
And that time, it was only believed that this is position for men. You never see women that will come up. Even when we throw out the application, you never see women applying for it. So now, talking about breaking this, overcoming the barriers,
Barriers. Yeah.
we need to create that awareness of different programs, doing the succession planning and career paths of female gender to say that, hey, you can do this. But they need to know, we need to curate that platform for everyone to understand that this is open. You can actually occupy it. So, like I mentioned, awareness is key, and also designing programs that will be attractive. Program can include, introducing parental leave that will help men too, to baby
Yeah.
to babysit
See.
children, while
Mhm.
women too are at
You're
work.
walking.
Exactly. These are the part of the program that we're looking into these days. That because if only women has to go for maternity leave, you're there for a year and you come back, you still have to be doing then definitely there will be jobs that women cannot do.
Yeah.
But by creating paternity leave that will encourage men too, that hey, do you know that you can take paternity leave and actually help in babysitting or doing the child
Children.
care?
Yeah.
Those are part of. So we need to do programs that will make it easy for other gender, for female gender to occupy, and by doing this, we'll be breaking the barriers. We're already doing it, not like
Mm.
it's so key because awareness is still ongoing. We still need
Mm.
more awareness, and the organization need to do that. So all these reputable organizations, these are things that they're doing now. Some of them have childcare facility in their offices where women can actually, because if the job is demanding, I
Yeah.
must tell you, because we are still the wives, we are still the mothers. We still want to raise God-fearing children. There are
Yeah.
things that we don't just want to do. But with this awareness, these programs ongoing, talking about it, career talk, career path, and succession planning jobs, I think the barrier will, reduce to the minimum, even if it's not going to be eradicated completely, but it will reduce drastically.
That is amazing. Thank you very much. Still talking about the workplace and the challenges that comes with gender inequalities. The next question is, what are the common examples of gender inequality in the workplace?
I've said that already also.
Hmm.
One of them is equal pay for equal
Equal.
job.
Yeah.
That I tell you, there are so many times that the jobs that even men and women can compete for, you just suddenly, I don't know what factors. Sorry, I'm human resources. Maybe I don't supposed to say this on the air, but there are things that we look at and like to let I'm spending my husband's money, and probably, I don't need so much. I want to say it's not in all cases, because actually
Yeah.
some women earn, far better than men. But those are some of the things that is systemic
Yeah.
discrimination that we are still experiencing: equal pay for equal job,
Mm.
and some roles like CEO. I
Yeah.
know those are women that are working so hard, and I really, 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 doff my cap for these ladies, because I can imagine a lot of effort they are putting to actually attain those roles. But there are some certain positions, especially in multinational organizations, that is just
Yeah.
like, even if you're a woman, if you have that position, that respect
Yeah.
It's not as like strong as when it is that is men. I
Mm.
have worked in an organization that we had, large meeting, and they were expecting someone to come, and I came, and the way I was being looked, I felt like I was looked down, like, oh, we
Wow.
thought it's going to be like somebody big, like a man, and
Wow.
no. So things are changing. It's, if you merit it, if you know about it, if you are, experts in that subject matter, of course. But those are some of the barriers that we are still experiencing as women
Thank you
in
very much.
organizations.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. And this is still my the Global Psychology series, and I would appreciate all those who are joining us on Instagram, Facebook. Da Ogechi, thank you for joining. Florence Seleko, thank you for joining. Real Engineer underscore AK, thank you for joining. The Young Cuisine, thank you for joining. And also we have Spice Queen, you know, also joining us from on Instagram, and we have Ola Dikupo Emmanuel from Nigeria. Oluwadayo Adeyemo from United States of America for joining us on this chat. Thank you so much for joining, and we're still on Global Talkative Series. And the next question I have for you, Dr. Yowande, is why you were talking about the challenges and the barrier and all of this, it's all centered around leadership. And there's this saying that everything rises and falls on leadership. If you have a bad leadership will probably, possibly produce bad followership. And if everything is wrong with the leader, there's a possibility that the followers also will probably, go in the wrong way. It's like a blind man leading a lot of folks, leading a team. If a blind man is your leader, automatically you're gonna miss your steps. So the question is, what makes a woman a good leader?
That's another great question. I mean, this question beckons for the qualities
Yeah,
that a woman has, that women we have, and what make us to do what we do. There are a lot of them. I want to start with the one that is common, but maybe people don't really think that it's so like big. I want to talk about women in like someone that can multitask. I want to talk about multitasking. The quality of a woman include multitasking.
mm,
And this is practical. And I'm sure Mr. Larry, without being like, if you want to be sincere, imagine what women can do together. We're talking about building a relation. We are mothers, we're wives, we cook, we do children homework, we take them around, we be at the forefront of the family, making that we are working, we are doing a lot of things, and we're not tired. We are, still be able to have time for all this. Do you know that average men can only do one thing at a time?
mm,
I have a practical example at home that, when they're doing one particular thing, that's what they're doing at that time. But we do a lot. As I'm cooking, I'm working, I'm checking my children homework, I'm calling those big ones in school. Hey, how are you doing? You can imagine what we do. So multitasking is one of the qualities that we put in there, and which make us a good leaders, because we are still able to touch base on so many things, concurrently, and we are
yeah,
still very strong. We are not tired. And of course, another strength that we have is resilience. We know we are, like I mentioned earlier, that the competition is high now. Women need to get ready to give what it takes. Women are so resilient in our passion for what we do, because we know we are competing with men. And like I said, sometimes some women are being looked down upon,
yeah,
and you want to be like, you want to prove yourself that you know your stuff, you know what you're doing. So we have that ability to be, to demonstrate that strong resilience in what we're doing.
mm,
Connection is another important quality we have. Women stay connected. We know the ladder that we take up. Sometimes we recognize and we stick to that. We don't just burn that bridge. Often we want to like almost give that credit to those people that are part of people that help us to get to where we are. So that's one of the qualities that we demonstrate,
mm,
and of course self assurance. Sometimes people want to pull you down, people want to look down on you, but you are self-assured that I know what I'm doing. Even if it takes time, I still know what I'm doing. Even when we make mistakes, we easily, admit it, and we want to get better, we want to know more, we want to do more. So another one is patience. We are very patient to follow things that we're doing. If things didn't go the way we wanted, we don't just give up. We still want to pass. Like I mentioned when I was talking about those great ladies, I spoke about Mrs. Jibril, Mrs. Sarah Jibril, that contested 4 times for Nigerian presidential election.
Yeah.
So that's patience, that we're not giving up. We're still nursing that ambition. We're still nursing hope. So we have many of those qualities that we have that make us to be good leaders and the nation builders.
That is amazing. I have someone on Instagram that actually tried to buttress your point when it comes to multitasking. Spicy Queen said, "That is correct, ma. It is scientifically proven men can't multitask." Well, I would like to see the if there's a journal or something, you know, like that. I know, I just want to
Give me
see
the
that.
task. Give me the
Yeah,
task, and I will write a journal for you on that.
yeah, because that is real amazing. Thank you for those who are still watching with us. Talk about Oni, thank you for joining us as well on this live chat. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Now the next question is why is female empowerment important? Why is female empowerment important in all of this? Because
It
we
is.
we we're bringing this attention to this so that the idea that especially from the African perspective, the and with some in some certain religious background, they believe that women are meant for the house. In fact, our president of Nigeria said women should be is meant for the other room, which, well, I don't believe that. But why is female empowerment
That is in
important?
addition to all what we do.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's a good question, Mr. Larry. Like I mentioned before, that when God created man, He didn't leave them alone. Rather, did He take woman from the dust? He took a rib from that man and make a woman. So that's you can see the tie, that's connection between these genders that we're talking about, either male or female.
mm,
But other than that, there are many things that benefits that we need to know, because empowerment of women is a necessity for every development of a society. It is, let's take out the bias against gender equality. Women top parity, or in top position,
yeah,
equates the bottom line in the net profit margin.
mm,
We are more in numbers.
mm,
And you can imagine, in any, even if you go to church, go to mosque, go to organization, go to any social gathering, you always see that men, we are outnumbered men.
mm,
And so tell me now, how do we do without women? We are it is very, very important for men inclusion in nation building.
mm,
And also women, part of the benefit is to serve, to serve as role model for the younger generation. We want to
yeah,
carry them along. We want to see the importance in them, to be a good wife, good mother, professionals. Another thing now is another benefit is talking to this younger generation on their career, of what they can, how can they be a good mother, a good wife, and still be a professional. So these are all the importance, the benefits of making women to be part of sustainable development of any nation, of any country. So
mm,
I can continue talking and talking about the benefits, but I tell you that this factor that women contribute to the bottom line, women act as role model to the younger generation, and also that women, we work together with men. Men is never alone. You are never
yeah,
alone. We are always together, because from your rib, women is created. So you need to understand that and carry them along to be part of
mm.
that decision making of building a nation that we hope to see.
Thank you very much. We are never alone, and it's true. I can't imagine how this world would look like without having women, alongside. Because I can, while you were talking about multitasking, I can say this categorically of my wife, because now with the coronavirus pandemic outbreak and the challenges about schooling, we opted for homeschooling,
Uh-huh.
and you know my wife just assumed the role of a teacher. She have to switch resumption time to a later afternoon. Normally, she works, from home within the health services, working very early, but because of that, she has to switch her working schedule to work late in the afternoon, close late at night, so that during the early hours of the morning, she can stay with them. Because I can't imagine sitting down with my kids, okay, your assignment, your work, your this, and sort of like, and taking in terms of the school, I got the emails, but she goes to the emails to know, okay, you're having this assignment, you're having this assignment. My
You do
work
that
is in my head. I want to just focus on, because
on
I
that thing
like
you're doing.
to, yes, focus on do it. But she's been able to, like, and she has to cook, clean the house, do all of that. So that, in a way, I can agree with you in that point. And then coming back to the empowerment aspect, you know, we have a lot of amazing women all around the world, but it is still not enough. Now the question is, how can we, how do we get more women in leadership roles? How can we get them, to occupy this? What can we do? Maybe from the government or from the corporate organization. How can we get more women in leadership roles?
Um, it is very simple. We just need more voices. I'm so privileged to be on your show today, because when you spoke to me and said, okay, I have a show, you are talking to me about what you do, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing, and I mentioned that to you. This is something that a few years I've been in Calgary for 15 years, and something like this, I'm not sure if it's out there, but now we have it, and we are talking for women. I
Mm,
see this topic as more of being a debate,
mm,
supporting women and the gender, female gender. And so exactly that's what we need. We need voices. We need more voices to talk to women
mm,
about what they can do and about what it needs for us to occupy, to vie for offices that, and to encourage us that whatever our passion is, we should not give up. There's
mm,
always room for us to develop and to do what we want to do,
mm.
which is the voice that we need there. Because some people, it's not that it's not in them, but sometimes it's how
Yeah.
will it happen. We are like, the self-esteem, we need to boost that self-esteem. And I believe that programs like this, going everywhere, countries, shows, talking about women and the power and the building the nation, our role, that we are not relegated the way we feel. We can actually come up and do what we think to do. We can participate.
Mm,
We just have to show that interest. But
mm,
my own take is always that we don't want this on a platter of gold.
yeah.
We want it on merit.
Mm,
And if we want it on merit, we need to demonstrate that we merit it. We
mm,
need to show interest. We need to contribute. We need to participate. And
mm,
another thing that I think that we need is economic power.
mm,
Because if you want to I want to contest
yeah.
for an election, or I want to participate in government, let's say Nigeria, for instance. What about if I don't have that economic power?
Yeah.
So we need support in that area to empower women economically to drive our passion. And when we have all this, I tell you that we will do more than what you think.
Hmm, that is amazing. Now, before going to the last question, we still have about 10 minutes more before we end the Global Talkative Series with Dr. Yewande Aturamu, a researcher, HR practitioner, staff consultant, and leadership development executive. Uh, this question is specifically directed to the African leaders. You know, we can count the number of female presidents in Africa. Now, what advice would you like to tell the African political elites, in terms of creating that enabling environment for women to occupy offices?
One thing I would say is that if you can grow to the position where we practice politics without violence,
Mm,
I tell you, you open room for everyone. Someone like me, I love Nigeria. Um, Even if I'm here, I'm not, I'm just like one step away from Nigeria every time. But when I look at the politics in Nigeria with the violence,
wow.
then it make it to be like, do you want to go into this?
This, yeah.
If you can change our orientation to say that we are ready to actually move this nation forward, and if you're interested, if you can give what it takes, if you have the passion, if you can contribute
Yeah.
to make this nation a great, and we remove violence, you don't want to practice politics with your life.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I don't know how they are going to curate that enabling environment for especially the female gender to actually come up to show their
Mm,
interest, practice politics. In a way, when I look at American politics, I'm always very elated.
yeah.
Where you talk, your expression, you are free to express your opinion without any fear that you are not going to sleep in your house, or you are not going to, they are
Yeah.
not
They're
going to
afraid.
put your obituary the
Yeah.
following day. So when
Mm,
we take that out and we practice politics with what it takes, you make it more interesting for
mm,
if not only even women, but other people that are men in that country that really have what it takes to actually turn or change or improve that nation. But the
mm,
fear of practicing politics with violence make people to want to step back. So if
mm.
you ask me, what's one thing that I want to tell our leader? They should create enabling environments where we practice politics without violence. I think you will see how credible people, will come up and they will offer their suggestion, they will offer their advice, and they will actually put up and come up and participate in taking a great role in how we can build that nation or
That is
improve on what our leaders have done in the past.
that is amazing. Thank you very much. Spicy Queen Canada said yes. The violence in politics is very prohibitive. Great people are not joining in Nigerian politics. That is quite sad, and it's unfortunate that the politics with violence, it's either me or nobody is still a major, barrier, to encouraging, women and even some men. They are afraid of their life. They don't want
That's
to
what I'm
just
saying.
risk their life. They want to
Yes.
serve, but because of the challenges. Now,
Mhm.
I have two more questions before we end this chat. I read an article somewhere, and I just it came to my mind now about the role of that woman plays in leadership. It looks kind of funny, but I think there's some sense in it that looking at the global village where we all have this coronavirus pandemic going on now, that every nation that is being managed or governed by a woman leader, be it the prime minister or a president or a chancellor, they've been able to manage the coronavirus pandemic to a barest minimum. You know what? And I don't think it's a coincidence because the report actually pointed out some of the nations like from Hong Kong, from Germany, New Zealand, and countries where you have the prime minister or the president as women. They said these women managed the coronavirus to a barest minimum. Will you say that it's some? What will you say? What would you like to say about that?
When we're talking about the qualities of women as a nation builder, then we can go back there and talk about when we see women as educator. We are mothers, we are wives, we function in public office, we function in organization, we multitask, we see things in a broader perspective than men that, so I don't want to criticize because Canada is not doing badly, sincerely speaking, and we have a male prime minister here. But when you look at those, when you put yourself as a mother, that blood is thicker.
Yeah,
It's always there to want to see things, to embrace things like, hey, I really want this to work. The care, being a mother, backed every role that women function, even in organization. I'm HR, and sometimes there are issues that happen. Before I think HR, I have to think as a mother first. I have to think as a woman first. Like, hey, how do I say this? If this is my son, this is my daughter, how will I feel?
mm,
So we put that being a mother in everything we do, and it helps us to see the broad overview of the
yeah,
situations on ground. We apply patience.
mm,
We have this perseverance. We want to see this going away. This pandemic, this are my, the woman leader assume herself to be the mother of that country, that I don't want my children, I don't want them to die. What can I do to protect them? We want
yeah,
to do more to be sure because you have to think as a mother before you think as a leader first.
mm,
And that is helping, in my own view, to want to embrace all what it takes to
mm,
manage this. And when we talk that tone of a mother, love, that
mm,
cares, that I sincerely care. I didn't want this to happen. And I think that helps us in managing and doing well in whatever facet of life we find ourselves. And kudos to those ladies. But for me, I see them as mothers that look at their nation like they are the mother, and the people in that nation are their children, and they want to protect them as much as they can.
mm. That is amazing. I love what you said. That you think first as a mother before thinking as a leader, which is a very, 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 resonating point with me today. And that takes us to the last question, which is, what advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders? Some of them are watching us, now, and some will be watching us after, or they'll be coming across this video at some point in their life, or at some moments when they have a time to come across this video. So, what advice will you give to the next generation of female leaders, be it in politics, be it in business, be it in corporate of life?
There are quite few of them, and one of them is for them to have role models of those leaders that they see that they're doing well, being in organization, being in politics, being in public service, being in business. Anyhow, even in schools, you have some people that doing something that you like about them. They're doing well on merit. They're working so hard. They're women of passion. Someone like me, when I see like Auntie Obi Ezekwesili, and I see Abike Dabiri, I
Yeah.
see Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, I look at them like role models, right? And
Mm,
I do know that some people are following me too. So we want to encourage the younger generation that you need to have that belief that without you or without them, the nation is not complete, and they're not going to have that good nation they are dreaming of if they don't take part in building it.
mm,
It need to begin to sink in them. We need to create an enabling environment for them as well, like career talk,
mm,
talking right from when they are like teenagers, talking about science, talking about business, talking about politics, talking about the areas where they have opportunity to be part of nation builder.
mm.
And we need to also talk to them to be good wives, good
Yeah.
mothers,
Mm,
because I tell you, nations begin from home. You
yeah.
need to be a good person first. You need to be a role model from your house, from your home front,
Mm,
seeing you, your children, looking at you as a good role model before you can actually go out there to represent the other women. So
mm,
younger generation, they need to put value in being responsible women, responsible wife, responsible mother, and that attributes they accumulate will help them out there when they want to put their interest forward.
mm,
So these are some of the things that we need to like begin to tell the younger and to tell them that there's hope for them. Like I mentioned, men is never complete without a woman. And politics, for instance, is a game of number. We outnumber men in every facet. Go to church, go to mosque, go to public, go to organization, go everywhere. We outnumber. So that means that we actually have good representation if you really want to support ourselves. So we have that platform for us. Younger generation need to understand that, and they need to begin to, use that platform as a terrain to get to whatever they want to. They should not believe that they can't. They need to boost their self-esteem that they can be what they say they are,
mm,
because they have some role models, even though not plenty now, but with time we are going to grow in number. If we have, if we begin to, have this conversation with the younger generation, we see
mm,
people tripling up, doubling more in representing women in whatever organization, politics, public services, businesses. We will be more, but they need to understand that. We need to begin to share that idea with them.
mm. Thank you very much, Dr. Yetunde, Dr. Yewande Aturamu, for taking time to be on the show today, and to our guests who are watching us from around the world. Thank you for hanging out with us on today's Global Chocolate series. I'm going to leave you with these words that you just said now, this sentence that think as a mother before thinking as a leader. That actually is going to help you, because when you think, you know, as a woman, as a mother, you think about the challenges of, nurturing your child, taking care of your home, because our home is like a mini nation where you have different departments, where you have different, qualities and things you have to do, put this in place. If all women can think and actually see themselves, in that position, that yes, I am actually a leader in my home. I'm building something. My home is a small nation. Then occupying a position of authority or leadership in the public and bringing those ideas forward will actually help them to succeed and to excel. I want to say thank you so much for those wisdom and the time you've shared with us on today's show. If you want to get in touch with Dr. Isunde, you can follow her on Instagram at Yewande Aturamu on Instagram, and as well on Facebook. You're on Facebook, right?
Yes, Dr. Yuan Turamu. That's my
So
name.
you and I
Or
know a lot of
YouTube as
people
well.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, so she's
Yuan
got an
Turamu is my name.
amazing platform where she talks about immigration, human resources consultancy, consultation, and all of that. And I think, I believe, not I think that she will be a very vital tool, especially women and men too, because it's always good to learn, to expose ourselves to, ideas and opportunities that we have in our community. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much. And to our leaders and to all the women leaders in the world, thank you for doing an amazing job. And to all the mothers, sisters, and ladies all around the world, thank you for doing an amazing job. Until we'll come again with a new show, a new guest, I want to say bye for now, and do have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for
Thank you.
now.
Thank you, Mr. Jai.